Dear students, now we are entering an important part of the chapter, organization chart and span of control, which help us understand how organizational structure is represented and managed in real organization. In this section, we will first study organization chart, which provide a graphical representation of formal authority, responsibility, communication channels and reporting relationships. After this, we will discuss how organizational structure is determined through activities analysis, decision analysis and relations analysis as suggested by Peter F. Drucker. Finally, we will learn span of control, its meaning and its effect on tall and flat structure, and the factors that influence an appropriate span of different level of management. Now that we have covered different forms, let us understand how organization structure is represented practically through organization charts. An organization chart is a graphical representation of formal organization structure. A clear organizational chart is reduce confusion and helps in planning future expansion. It identifies the company's structure, the number of employees, organizational objective, and lines of command. By outlining the organizational structure, it becomes clear who is responsible for which area, where employees should go for guidance, why the organization exists, and who report to whom. Organization charts show formal authority relationship, decision-making centers, communication channels, and span of supervision. They may be personal chart showing position and incumbent or functional chart showing activities and functions. Next, we will clearly understand what kind of information an organization chart actually provides to management and employee. An organization chart provides vital information such as the structure and flow of authority, responsibilities assigned to the department and individuals, line, line staff and functional relationships, management levels, communication channels, basis of departmentalization, and relationships between functions and roles. Thus, it serves as a visual map of organizational relationships. Now, let us learn how organization structure can be presented in different formats such as vertical, horizontal, and circular charts. Organization structure can be presented visually in different ways, depending on managerial preference and communication needs. The, the slides identifies three major forms of presentation: vertical, horizontal, and circular. The vertical organization chart is most widely used format. It presents the organization in a pyramidal form with the senior most executive at the top and successive level of management shown below. Authority flows from top to bottom in a clear scalar chain. This form is preferred because it is clearly reflect hierarchy, authority, and responsibility. The horizontal chart, though conceptually similar, present authority from left to right. Top management appears on the left and lower level extend horizontally. This format is rarely used because it is less intuitive and harder to interpret in larger organizations. The circular or concentric chart places the chief executive at the center with successive management level arranged outward in concentric circle. Positions of equal ranks appear at the same distance from the center. This presentation symbolizes the idea that authority radiates outward and that all functions are equally important. After understanding the types of chart, let us explore the major advantage of organization charts in real organizational functioning. Organization charts serve several important managerial purposes. First, they clearly bring to light line of authority and relationship. Employees can easily understand who has authority over whom and how accountability is distributed across positions. Second, organization charts define relationship among various positions by showing how positions fit into the overall organizational framework. Charts prevent confusion and duplication of work. Third, charts help in identifying overlapping responsibilities. Third, chart helps in identifying overlapping responsibility and gaps in authority. This allows management to take corrective action at the right time. Fourth, organization charts are extremely useful in the training and orientation of new employees. New recruits can quickly understand reporting relationship, coordination mechanism, and the overall organizational setup. Finally, organization chart clearly limit authority at each level. This prevents misuse of power and ensure discipline within the organization. Now, let us also examine the limitations of organization chart because every tool has strengths as well as weakness. First, they present only a partial picture of the organization because they show only formal relationship. Informal relationship which play a significant role in actual functioning are not depicted. Second, organization chart are static documents. They represent the organization at a particular point in time and may quickly become outdated due to frequent organizational changes. Third, chart may unintentionally create status differences, leading to feelings of superiority or inferiority among employees. Fourth, while charts show authority relationships, they do not indicate the extent or degree of authority exercised by different managers. Finally, in a dynamic environment where structures and processes change frequently, organization charts may lose relevance unless regularly updated. Moving forward, we will now learn how an organization structure is determined, starting with the first method, activities analysis. The determination of organization structure begins with activities analysis as suggested by Peter Drucker. Activities analysis involve identifying all activities required to achieve organizational objectives. This may include manufacturing, purchasing, marketing, finance, and personnel management. Once identified, activities are ranked according to their importance and divided into smaller, homogeneous units. These units are then assigned to individuals or departments. Authority is delegated downward from top management to departmental manager and further to lower levels. Through this process, jobs are created and the jobs become the basic building block of organization structure. Next, we will study the second method of determining structure, decision analysis, which focuses on the nature and frequency of decision. According to Drucker, four characteristics must be considered: the decision itself, the impact on other functions, qualitative factors such as values and beliefs, and whether decisions are recurrent or rare. Recurrent decisions require established rules and procedures, whereas rare decisions must be handled as unique situations. This analysis helps in determining how much authority should be delegated and at which level decisions should be made. Now we will study the third method, relations analysis, which explain relationship and coordination among manager, staff and departments. Relations analysis examines with whom a manager must work to perform assigned activities effectively. This includes analyzing line relationships, staff relationships, and superior subordinate relationships, as well as lateral coordination among departments. Downwards, upward, sideways relationship must be studied carefully to ensure smooth coordination and communication. Proper relations analysis ensure that organizational structures support cooperation rather than conflict. After understanding structural determination, let us move to a key concept that shapes hierarchy: span of control. Span of control refers to the number of subordinates directly supervised by a manager. This concept originated in military organization but is now widely used in business management. Theories by V. A. Greikunas and Lyndall Urwig demonstrated that no universal optimal span exists. If the span is too wide, supervision becomes ineffective. If it is too narrow, supervision becomes costly due to excessive managerial layers. Therefore, span of control must be determined carefully. Now, let us see how span of control directly impact the shape of organization structure, whether it become tall or flat. Span of control directly influence the shape of organizational structure. A wider span of control results in a flat organization structure with fewer managerial levels. A narrow span of controls leads to a tall structure with multiple layers of management. Graikunas explained that interaction between a manager and subordinates increase exponentially as the number of subordinates increase. Therefore, span of control is a critical factor in determining how many executives an organization requires. Next, we will study the factors that influence span of control, such as technology, communication, and management style. The use of information technology allows managers to supervise more subordinates. Well-defined work rules reduces the need for close supervision. Management style, desired hierarchy depth, and organizational approaches such as empowerment and self-directed teams also affect span. Effective communication systems make it possible to manage a larger number of subordinates. Traditionally, a span of 5 to 6 subordinates has been considered appropriate. Now we will continue with additional influencing factors including nature of work, experience of subordinates, and leadership capability. When work is routine and simple, supervisors can handle a wider span. Skilled supervisors with leadership, decision making, and communication ability can manage more employees. Experienced subordinates require less supervision. Time availability, decision making style, and support from staff specialists also influence the appropriate span of control. Finally, we will conclude span of control with final consideration and understand why span cannot be uniform at all levels. At this stage of our discussion, it is important to understand that span of control cannot be uniform throughout the organization. Every managerial position differs in terms of responsibilities, complexity of work, nature of decision, and level of interaction required. Therefore, applying a single standard span of control across all levels would be both impractical and inefficient. A span of control must be carefully determined for each executive position individually. For example, the span of control suitable for a top level executive involved in strategic planning and policy decisions will differ significantly from that of a lower level supervisor managing routine operational activities. Each role demands a different degree of supervision, coordination, and control. Furthermore, determining span of control requires continuous adjustment. because the influencing factors are interdependent. Changes in technology, communication system, employees' competence, organizational culture, or management style directly affect the number of subordinates a manager can effectively supervise. A change in one factor automatically alters the impact of other, making span of control a dynamic, not static concept. The ultimate objective of deciding an appropriate span of control is to design a balanced organization structure. A balanced structure avoids the extreme of being excessively flat or unnecessarily tall. It ensures that managerial workload is reasonable, communication flows smoothly, coordination is effective, and decision making remains timely. In conclusion, a reasonable span of control helps maintain organizational efficiency, reduce administrative costs, improve supervision quality, and support effective delegation of authority. When span of control is thoughtfully designed, it strengthens the overall organization structure and enhances long-term organizational performance.
With this, we complete our discussion on organization chart and span of control. And now let us quickly summarize the key points of today's lecture. In this section, we studied that organization charts are graphical tools used to represent formal organizational structure. They identify the company structure, number of employees, objectives, line of command, responsibility area and reporting relationship, and act as a visual map of authority and communication. We also understood the major form of chart presentation: vertical, horizontal and circular, and discussed the advantage of charts such as clarity in authority responsibility, training support and preventing duplication of work, along with limitations such as ignoring informal relations and becoming outdated. Further, we studied the determination of structure through activities analysis, decision analysis and relations analysis. Finally, we learned about span of control, which refers to the number of subordinates supervised by a manager. We understood that span directly affects organizational structure by creating flat or tall hierarchies, and span is influenced by factors such as technology, communication system, nature of work, managerial capabilities, experience of subordinates and time availability. Overall, span of control must be decided carefully to maintain a balanced, efficient and cost effective organizational structure. Dear students, thank you for your attention. If you found this video is useful, please like and share it. And if you have any doubt related to this video, feel free to write them in the comment box and we will try our best to answer them. Thank you.